of the proceedings against you are completed. You have the possibility to make an application for interim release pending trial. And finally, Mr. Duterte, you have the right to be informed as soon as possible and in detail of the nature, cause and content of the charges in the language that you fully understand and speak. Counsel, have you understood?
Yes, we're listening, ma'am. We're listening, and before it ends, may we be allowed to present a manifestation on the circumstances behind the delivery of Mr. Duterte in this chamber.
Oui, Maître, je dois d'abord demander.
Yes, counsel. This is as part of the procedure. And as we've said since the very outset, I need to ask Mr. Duterte himself to make the conditions of his detention at the detention facility of the court since his arrival. If he can please tell us these details.
Thank you. Can I?
Oui, Maître. Oui.
The presiding judge. Yes, counsel.
Please. 2 days ago, the whole world has witnessed the degrading fashion in which a former president of a sovereign country was bundled into a private aircraft and summarily transported to The Hague. To us lawyers, this would be called an extrajudicial rendition. To the less legally inclined, it was a pure and simple kidnapping. My client was denied all access to the legal recourse in the country of his citizenship, and this all in the nature of political score settling. Two troubled entities struck an unlikely alliance, an incumbent president who wished to neutralize and choke the legacy of my client and his daughter on the other hand, and a troubled legal institution subject to delegitimization and desperate for a price cuts and a legal show today on the other hand. With this in mind, it is not surprising that my client was abducted from his country. ICC private jets do not drop out of the thin air. That jet which received my client was coordinated in advance. The UAE is not a state party to the ICC and has no obligation to cooperate with the court. Yet my client sat in transit in that country for more than 5 hours. I invite the registry's representative to present today in court to explain to the judges exactly how they believe this transfer was anything other than a gross abuse of process. Given the precipitous arrival of my client, an elderly man with debilitating medical issues, hard of hearing and poor of sight, he was taken to a hospital for observation. Only this morning have I met him for the first time with less than an hour to discuss legal issues. I have not been able to present him with a hard copy of the arrest warrant because we were not supplied with such. I have not even been able to explain to him what the prosecution requested when seeking the issuance of the arrest warrant. This is because the chamber only established a redacted version of the prosecution request last night. Other than to identify himself, my client is not able to contribute anything to this hearing. Most importantly, he is not able even to tell you that he has been informed of the charges as contained in the arrest warrant for a reason more pertinent to which I alluded in my written request to this honorable pretrial chamber this morning, and which is confidential in nature. Accordingly, I repeat my respectful request, which was rejected this morning, to postpone the substantive aspect of this hearing to the next week, when I will have the opportunity to sit with my client and to explain to him what a confirmation hearing is and what the disclosure is, and how the prosecution alleges that he committed crimes. I thank the court for its attention and regret to say that I do not have instructions to continue my submission any further today. Thank you.
D'abord, concernant
Thank you, Counsel. Now, with regard to the health issues of Mr. Duterte, I believe that the court has taken specific measures with regard to his health situation, and I note that subsequent to his arrest and when he arrived at the detention centre, the court's doctor was of the opinion that you were fully mentally aware and fit, and that you have undergone further checks and tests at the detention facility. And when you broached health matters, that's saying that you were not able to come to the hearing, the doctors who consulted with you were of the opinion that Mr. Duterte was not in a position to come to the hearing physically, but that if he gave a written permission, he would be able to take part via video link. Now, that is with regard to the health matters that you just mentioned. They are very important, especially concerning the matter of age. Now, with regard to the rights of Mr. Duterte, we have before us the registrar's or the registry's report that says that Mr. Duterte has been informed of his rights, including Articles 66 and 67 of the Rome Statute, and that that he is aware of his rights and that he is also aware of the charges against him. We have before us the report of the registry saying that he was also aware of the warrant of arrest in the English language and that he is very well versed in the English language. Once again, you have the possibility of these charges being read in English, which was the case today. I have read to you in the French language the rights that he has, Mr. Duterte, before this court, and I'd like to specify once again that this is an initial hearing in order for Mr. Duterte to be aware of his rights and the charges against him. And then there will be a full procedure that will unfurl leading up to the confirmation of charges that will enable Mr. Duterte to raise all the matters that you have just raised with regard to the warrant of arrest, with regard to the crimes committed, with regards to the charges, and any other matters associated with his arrest, and the matters of jurisdiction of the court. You have the opportunity to do this throughout these proceedings leading up to the actual confirmation of charges hearing. Now, counsel, with regard to your request for another hearing to be held next week, well, your initial request, that was, this was not accepted by the court. Now, you have seen the two decisions of the court that have been disclosed to you, and you are aware of the fact that these two decisions were refused. And this is by dint of the fact that this first initial appearance hearing does not need much preparation, as I have said to you on a number of occasions. I am now going to move on to the third stage, which is to set the date for the confirmation of charges hearing. After assessing all factors, including the need for the parties and participants to adequately prepare, as well as Mr. Duterte's rights, including his right to be tried within a reasonable time, the date for the commencement of the confirmation of charges hearing is September the 23rd, 2025. I would add that in accordance with Rule 1217 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, this date may be postponed by the Chamber depending on the progress of the proceedings, either on its own motion or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Before concluding this hearing, I would like to inform the parties of the next procedural steps. First, I would like to recall that in accordance with Rule 1212B of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the Chamber holds status conferences to ensure a small exchange of information under satisfactory conditions. These conferences are organised either ex officio or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Secondly, a set of decisions will be taken in a timely manner to ensure that the proceedings progress smoothly and expeditiously. More specifically, I am referring in particular to a decision on the arrangements and procedure for the disclosure of evidence, and a decision setting a timetable for the disclosure of evidence in such a way as to ensure orderly and efficient disclosure between the parties. In this regard, the Chamber orders the prosecutor to begin disclosing today the information on the basis of which the warrant of arrest was issued, and to complete this disclosure no later than within the next 7 days. The Chamber will also issue a decision on the participation of the victims who, according to the statute of the court and to the extent permitted by the Chamber, are authorised to present their views and concerns at this stage of the proceedings. We have come to the end of Mr. Duterte's first appearance hearing. I would like to thank all the participants in this hearing, the interpreters and the stenographers. This concludes today's hearing.
Ng suporta dito at sa ating mga kababayan na nandoon sa Pilipinas, nagpapasalamat ako sa pagpapakita nila na galit at
sobrang galit
sa nangyari kay President Duterte, sa nangyayari sa ating bayan. Napakahalaga yung pagpapasalamat ko sa mga dasal ninyo. Madami ang nagdadasal at malaking tulong yon ang dasal dahil nagbibigay yon ng lakas ng loob sa lahat ng pinagdadaanan ngayon ni President Duterte. Pangalawa, madami sa inyo ang hindi nagtrabaho ngayon. Meron pang galing Amerika at kanina meron akong nakausap na maliit na grupo dito kaninang umaga. Sabi ko sa kanila, napakahalaga ng inyong mga trabaho kaya huwag ninyong pabayaan.
Euro is nothing without our ex-president!
Yes, dahil alam ko breadwinners kayo lahat. ninyo gusto makipagsapalaran sa ibang bansa, maiwan ang pamilya ninyo doon sa ating bayan. Pero napakahalaga yung trabaho ninyo at yung pag-alaga ninyo sa inyong mga mahal sa buhay na nasa Pilipinas. Alalahanin natin, napakahalaga yung edukasyon nila. Kailangan natin paulit-ulit sabihin sa kanila na yun ang magpapabago sa buhay nila, ang edukasyon nila. So maraming salamat dahil it is heartwarming na kahit mawalan kayo ng trabaho, mawalan kayo ng sweldo sa isang araw, mabawasan ang inyong leave,
Pagalitan ng mga asawa.
at meron pa sa inyo ay nakapag-absent kahit wala ng leave.
Ma'am, para muli sa mga tao sa Pilipinas, mga pamilya.
Mahal ko kayo. Kaya meron pong kaming imbitasyon sa inyo, paanyaya sa inyo na tayo ay magsama-sama sa March 23. Sabi po ng mga tiga-Netherlands ay Sunday po yan. At sabi ko kanina sa mga kasama natin na kababayan dito, sabi ko, Friday, Saturday, maglaban na kayo. Dahil Sunday, magkita-kita tayo sa March 23.
Location mo!
Dito po, sa Netherlands. Hindi ko lang alam kung sa Amsterdam, sa Hague, pero dito siya sa Netherlands.
Saan siya Saan po siya i-post, ma'am? Asa siya i-post? Asa siya
Ang pagkakaalam ko, meron kasi kayong mga group leaders.
Yes, ma'am.
Iba't iba
Okay, good. Sige, sige. Okay, that's nice.
Meron pong ginagawang meeting. Kahapon may ginawang meeting. Di bali po, sasabihin ko sa kanila na i-post nila publicly para kahit yung hindi membro ng grupo ay alam nila kung saan sila.
Suporta, may suporta.
At kahit umuulan ay hindi kayo umaalis.
Suporta na kami sa mga partner niya, ma'am.
Para po sa mga Pilipino sa Pilipinas, ma'am.
Gusto ko lang ulitin kasi kanina
Para sa among pamilya.
masyadong malayo yung iba. Hindi ninyo narinig kung ano yung mensahe ni Pangulong Duterte. Sabi po niya, dahil sinabi ko, madami ang nasaktan. Madami ang umiiyak. Madami ang galit. At sinabi ko, mahalaga, madami ang nag-absent. Kaya sinabi ko sa kanya, ano ang gusto mo ipaabot sa kanila? Ang una niyang tanong is, nandyan sila sa labas? Sabi ko, oo, nandyan sila sa labas. Sabi niya, hindi ko man lang sila makausap at makamusta. Sabi ko, darating tayo dyan. Pero sabi ko, ibigay mo muna ngayon sa akin ang mensahe mo para sa kanila. So sinabi niya, unang-una, relax lang. May hangganan ang lahat. There is a day of reckoning. Yan ang kanyang mensahe. Para sa inyo.
Nagulat dire sa gawas.
Pag-presidente, ma'am! Pag-presidente, ma'am! Papawayo na nato.
Okay, naalala ko na. Tinanong ko din siya. Kasi masakit sa akin na nakikita na umiyak kayo. Yes! Masakit sa akin yon. Kasi, alam nyo yon, para, hindi naman kasi dapat ginagawa sa inyo yan. Ano mo yun? Hindi dapat siya ginagawa sa inyo yan. So, tinanong ko siya. Sabi ko, ano ba ang mensahe mo sa mga umiiyak? Kasi nasasaktan ako kapag nakikita ko na umiiyak sila. Tapos sabi niya, di umiyak ka din. So usual na, alam niyo na, yung sense of humor. Sabi niya, di umiyak ka din. And sabi ko sa kanya, alam mo, wala akong masasolve na problema kung iiyak ako. Sabi ko, ano lang, ang kailangan ko lang ngayon ay ang mensahe mo sa kanila para hindi, mabigat sa loob, sa damdamin nila. At sinabi niya na, as a Filipino, I never surrendered my country. Sinabi niya, wala kayong masabi na meron akong Pilipino na binigay sa mga Tayo. Yun ang mensahe niya nung tinanong ko siya kung ano ang specific mo na mensahe sa mga umiiyak. Parang hindi ata yun papatigil sa iyak niyo. Unfortunately, yun ang mensahe niya. Yun ang sentiments niya na gusto niya daw malaman ninyo na hindi niya daw talaga sa lahat ng kanyang pagtatrabaho para sa ating bansa, ibinigay ang ating bansa sa mga Pilipino. Yes, ma'am. Sabi ko nga kanina dito sa interview na sinabi naman niya, tell them I am okay. I just miss Filipino food. Hindi ito Pilipinas na pwede ka magdala. Kain special shout out sa naghahawak ng ating speaker dahil
Yes, ma'am.
magkakaintindihan dito kung wala si Sir.
Gikan na Samoa, ma'am. Sa Germany pa nagika Samoa na.
So, gikan daw na sa Germany.
Samu Restaurant.
Nagkakalamat. Unsa ang pangalan sa restaurant?
El Sol Restaurant sa Berlin. El Sol Restaurant, ma'am. El Sol Restaurant sa Berlin. Yes, ma'am.
Enzo Restaurant sa Berlin.
Let's go!
Yes, oo. Siguro when we meet sa 23, pakutana din dito. May tanong dito about sa birthday ni President Duterte sa March 28. Siguro, pag nakita-kita tayo sa 23, it will be a very casual meet and greet para sa inyong lahat. I'm sure gusto ninyo ng mga chismis. Pero isa din sa isa din tinumod na no mga chismis sa lagi mo. Grabe kasi sa mga Pilipino.
Naman!
Daghan sa magsilingan, mag-away tungkol sa chismis. Daghan ang madala sa barangay tungkol kay nag-away sa intriga. So, manasana ako ang birthday. So, sa 23, maybe we can discuss what you want to do sa March 28. So, Celebrate the birthday.
Tatalak na, Sara. Ma'am, any update po ba?
Kailangan para uwi.
Nang-feeling niya.
Actually, hindi ko din alam. Kasi hindi ko nakausap ang doktor. Nakiusap ako kanina kung pwede ba umupo kami, nandiyan si President Duterte, ako at yung doktor, para lang mapag-usapan kung ano ang plano ng doktor. Pero hindi kasi ganun kadali doon sa loob yung mga ganun na bagay. Kaya sabi ko sa kanya, Papa, kung may nararamdaman ka, sabihin mo sa kanila. Huwag mo sabihin na okay ka lang. Kasi alam niyo naman si PRD, macho yung macho yung image niya, di ba? Lalaking lalaki na magtataka ka na lang na namatay na kasi hindi nagpapacheck. Sino ang gano'n ang tatay? Diretso na lang nag-stage for cancer dahil simula nung pinanganak siya hanggang nagkasakit siya, hindi siya nagpa-check up. So, sabi ko sa kanya, huwag mong itago kung may nararamdaman ka, sabihin mo sa doktor. At tinanong ko naman, ma'am, sabi ko, 24 hours ba ang doktor ninyo? Sabi naman sa akin, no security, 24 hours daw yung doktor nila. At syempre yung healthcare personnel ay 24 hours din.
Ayos po ka ba na maging presidente?
Ang akin na kasiwag, ang fear ko, do we still have a country by 2028?
Nakita lang taman.
Going right now, hindi ko alam, palubog ng palubog ng palubog.
Ma'am Sara, we need you.
Ma'am, next week na, president ka na sana.
Pero alam nyo, magtiwala lang kayo sa Diyos. Dahil, makikita nyo na lahat ng bagay ay merong purpose. Hindi nyo kaagad siya nakikita. Hindi nyo kaagad siya nakikita the moment na nangyayari siya. Pero kapag nangyari na yung bagay o yung purpose para sa ginawa sa iyo ng tadhana o ng Diyos, ay maiintindihan mo na kung ano yung plano niya. Bigyan ko kayo ng example ng ganito, na sinasabi ko, everything has a purpose.
Yes.
Last year, nabalitaan nyo yung nagbiyahe ako ng Munich, di ba? Yung binanatan nila ako ng binanatan, dahil nagbiyahe ako papuntang Munich. Ang anak ko, nagsabi siya sa akin, Mama, gusto ko manood ng Taylor Swift concert. Di ba pila yung magbibili ng ticket sa online? So sabi ko sa kanya, mag-strategize ka. Sabi ko, doon ka pumila sa tingin mo, kukunti lang ang doon sa